Mr. Austin for that.
The only thing worse than one comedian doing comedy is when you have two at the same time playing off of each other poorly. Often roasts divulge into I forgot to write a joke. I'm just going to say like the meanest thing that I haven't told you. And again, because comedians are sensitive catty bitches. The movie was good.
Isn't that how the one clown guy died because he was
Heath
so
Ledger?
in his
One
role?
clown guy? You mean the Joker?
Again, we're back.
I never watched it.
Of Christopher
What?
Nolan.
Oh my
and
God.
what you have to understand about the Joker.
And let's clap on the count of 3. That's how you synchronize it. Right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that was hard.
I jumped the gun.
All right.
Again,
1,
I'm
2,
a
3,
wrestler,
and-
so you try to get the
I thought
jump
we were-
on the whistle. She was tracked. She gets it. Like, you want to be the first one.
So 1, 2, 3, and cut.
I was right.
This is gonna be hilarious. So 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right. So welcome everybody to the second episode of the podcast. Psst. Did you hear that podcast? I don't know. We might change the name eventually, but we are on Spotify now.
I heard y'all might change.
Welcome, Austin. You are our first guest. I don't know why I'm yelling because we are far away, but
Hi, Imre.
Welcome, Austin.
It's good to be here.
Happy to have you.
Which is funny because it's funny that Austin is our first guest because you just moved to the city, right?
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
a
I
couple
grew up
months ago.
here, so
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you why did you move to Jacksonville, but I guess that explains it.
I didn't. And don't give away my location.
We'll keep that under wraps.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna sit down and squeak with my microphone. All right, so we usually this is our second recording, so there is nothing set in stone. We just talk about the venues and stuff, right? And what's happening. So you had some theories why. It's funny because you are on the other side. Based on what you said, you told me last week, you are on the other side of the whole. Why would a venue cancel a comedy show?
Yeah.
Open mic.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
my basic theory is, and not just a comedy show, a comedy open mic. Why wouldn't they cancel a comedy open mic? Like, what is the value in the most autistic people in a 30-mile radius spewing the worst nonsense they could have come up with and also talking about their penis? We barely buy drinks, and I don't get why any business would keep that around. In general, I just think comedy was like a bad idea, and it's not, people just aren't good at it. We haven't figured out how to do comedy well as a species. It's not anyone's fault. So I just don't know why you would have a comedy venue when you could get like the worst guitar player in that area to strum bullshit, and no one's gonna leave. They're gonna be like, it's fine.
So that's a really good point because Jacksonville is a music city. Like we have a lot of musical events where comedy we don't. You know what I mean? Like we don't have.
I've been to a few cities. Like every city I've been to is a music first city.
I guess
because cities are music first.
Right.
Like it's just a more popular medium.
It makes sense, sure. But for example, in this case, they did not kick us out because there was music coming in. It was just they just wanted to end things.
And I get that, and I support that decision fully. Like,
All right. So, what do you think is the funniest species then? Because you said humans are not funny. So, do you think they are
we
funny?
don't know that any species is, because you have to understand we can only observe other species through a human lens.
Sure, right,
And we've
right.
established humans don't know how to do funny. Yeah, we never got the manual. It's unfortunate, but someday, I respect the attempt. I respect the try. I just don't know that we'll ever get there. It's like alchemy. right? Like, how awesome would it be if you could turn a mineral into gold? And it would be great if people could turn their ordinary daily life observations into humor. But again, no one's ever done it. Certainly
trash.
Certainly not at a comedy open mic. So
it's funny because people are like, "Who is this guy?" It sounds like not even a comedian.
No, more of a social scientist, really.
All right.
So what's better then if you're saying comedy's like the worst thing, a club owner? What could be better though then besides music? That's the only
Here's
thing.
my pitch. Nothing.
Our place is going to make money.
And you'll at least not piss off the regulars.
Yeah. Well, no, I get it. I mean, because I've seen like there's a newer one. I don't know if you. Yes. Yeah. We all know of this newer one that recently opened up. We're not going to say where. But the owner even asked me, what else do you think I could put on events throughout the week besides comedy, or can we do something else? Do you want to even ask me, do I want to run an improv show or workshop? Because I teach it every day in school. Right. And I was like, that's an idea. But I'm like, they're just trying to have people come in and make whatever money they can. But I see your point. If we could totally have the opposite effect. If we're all trash, horrible, you're going to have people leaving. Like, they're not going to say, man, this is bad. We got to go home. TV's better.
Yeah, so I definitely heard people, just regular people, non-comedians, saying, hey, I went to this venue, whatever that venue was, another one. And they were like, this guy was up there for like 7 minutes, and it was horrible, so we will never come back. And I'm like, this is an open mic, you know what I mean? Like, people don't know really what an open mic is.
It's an open mic, so half the people there are not funny. They don't have the gene and never will.
Funny gene.
And the people who are there and are funny are not doing their funny stuff because they're saving that for showcases and stuff they actually invite people to.
Yeah.
I'm not inviting someone to a comedy open mic unless I already don't value that friendship. Like, I'm okay with that bridge just burning forever. Like, okay, yeah, come along. And so it's not like the comedians are bringing people in, not to an open mic, So
I actually had to bring people in at this one open mic that was completely dead.
Barking.
And actually, what happened is what you said. There was no one. You probably know of the place. Dead. No crowd. No. Now I don't know why, because when I started there, I don't know why. Probably that's why it was trash. They weren't getting a crowd. To get it started, all I had was family and friends to invite. The first few, And then suddenly, and of course you got some random people come.
Well, if you're going to burn a bridge with anyone, you should start with family. I think that's the best demographic.
You're right. Fuck them.
Austin is anti-family, anti-comedy.
Well, I'm afraid to take bold stances. People say family first, family last, okay?
Fuck them. Fuck them. Especially if they're toxic. Who gives a shit? But actually, now that I think about it, when my family did come, I was doing some of my best material at the open mic because I'm like,
you're showing up.
I'm not trying to test out my new stuff with all these. You're right, these friends and family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was a complicated situation.
Like they're seeing me, waste a lot of time and money on what is no doubt a bad idea. So I need them to at least know I'm good at that bad idea, which I'm not, again, because people, as I said, are not funny, don't know how to be funny. But the closest I get to it, I'm doing that material. And again, but not in an open mic.
Okay, that's actually interesting. So you think that comedy, it's an unachievable goal that you can just strive for, you know what I mean? But you can never achieve it. It's like recognizing yourself.
Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the hill, except there is no hill, and it's just him getting crushed by a giant boulder. That's comedy.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good analogy. Yeah,
definitely kills your pride and your ego many times when it's like you really gotta be able to swallow your pride, especially if it's all bombing.
Yeah,
that's like really it really works your pride, and your ego.
Sure.
For sure.
I mean, especially, comedians are like sensitive most of the time. Not all of them. But,
No, the most sensitive. Like
most,
of any
most
demographic
sensitive.
or group.
You think so?
Like, oh, God, yes. Fragile. Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
You
good.
don't
I
f- you
thought
don't
I was
feel
the
sensitive?
only one.
No. I think everybody's sensitive.
Well, I mean,
Really?
Like I'm sensitive about
there's
certain
a lot of
stuff.
ADHD amongst comedy. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
diagnosable. You're sensitive. Like you're hypersensitive.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Right.
And on
Okay.
top of that, you're talking about massive egos at play, right? You have to
Massive.
have an ego just to want to get on stage and just talk about your penis to strangers. Like, I was doing that before I ever got a microphone, obviously. And then when
All
I
of
got, the stage to do it,
Yeah.
it just fed into that,
I mean, I don't know. Like, comedy was always. I wanted to try it even when I was younger.
Yeah.
But it took me several months, and I was there every week at the mics. But I was just I chickened out every time. You know what I mean? And until I wrote like a good about what I thought was a good 5-minute set, I'm like, this is gonna be killer. I'm like, the host is gonna come up to me, puts me on shows and stuff, and that did not happen. But I had a good enough time to keep
Imre,
going.
that was an impressive first mic. I'm Lorne Michaels. Here's your contract. I've never seen a first timer like you. That was what was going to happen. And that's why you
That's
had
what
to
I
keep
thought.
putting it off.
And
Yeah.
if I show you the set list, 70% of them was just like,
it's all
having
dog
sex with goats and
Yeah,
chickens
yeah.
and
Like-
like just stupid
It's just-
stuff.
the only thing I did at my first open mic that got like any sort of reaction, and I'm not saying good, just reaction, was me miming sucking my own dick on stage. And like not from a standing position. I really attempt to get that whole penis in my mouth, and I did not succeed. I would not be here today had
Damn
I
it.
succeeded.
You're
Lorne Michaels would have come out of the crowd and handed me a contract.
You are just keep searching for the
Yeah.
dragon,
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm just like a grimy Cleveland grungy bar floor where like it was just the owner, like the person putting on the show who was also hosting, and then one other comedian and a marriage that couldn't have been doing well. Like that was all the people there, and also 2 people playing pool in the back who really wish we would keep it the fuck down. They're thinking about leaving.
Oh, that's the worst. So that's interesting, though, that you said that you had gone to several open mics before you first tried.
Mhm.
Was that the same for you?
I went to a couple, like 2 or 3.
Okay.
And I did have the bitch out moment, like the second one I think I went to. And then I went to one in Birmingham, and then I went up to Cleveland. Actually, the second time I ever got on stage was at like a heckling encouraged open mic
Oh,
at
wow.
a punk bar, which is just like the dumbest setting you could start out.
It sounds
doing
like a
comedy.
crowd work, just
Oh,
like
well,
encourage
it's not crowd work because like there was a prize for if you had the best heckle, and that was all anyone gave a shit about. So like no one, like you're not even able to get material out. They're just screaming like obscenities and abuse at you, and you can't even hear half of it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
When you're like actually getting heckled or doing crowd work, like they say the shit and you repeat it, right? So everyone hears, so you get that second to like, what am I gonna say back? This was just pussy, dick sucker. I got a lot of hey, what frat are you in type comments.
Yeah, right.
That's funny.
Yeah, I told him the one that raped their sister.
That's
that was your comeback.
Yeah,
Gotta have
It was
something
pretty
ready.
good.
it was the only thing I did worth a shit that night. And then,
Yeah.
But yeah.
I love a good roast. Like I did a
that's
couple of roast shows, and one time I was doing a Zoom roast show, and I wrote jokes and whatever, or roast jokes. And this lady from LA, I can't remember her name now, but she wiped the floor. Like I couldn't even put in a sentence. She was just like roasting me nonstop. I was like, oh my god. So that was a whole different level of roasting. But I was thinking about like a heckle mic. Like
It
a
takes a
heckle show.
lot of bravery to enter a roast with that
Oh, sure.
accent, Imre.
Oh,
Like, there's a lot you're going to have to account for.
Well, but after the first couple of jokes, say, hey, this is how you look like, whatever, and
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is where you're from.
Yeah, no,
they have
absolutely.
to come up with something
Yeah.
smart. But but it was a lot of fun. I like roast battles a lot.
No, roast shows are great. It's a misconception that it's a competition, though, because it's not. It's trying to do like the most humor. It's still a show.
Sure.
And that's why it doesn't matter that I lose. It
Right.
doesn't matter. I'm not mad. Why would I be mad? You know, I don't care. Who cares? Right?
Little sense.
I don't. Dude, it's kind of bullshit. Okay, right? So how do they even vote on these things? You know, who made you God? And damn it, I should have won.
Well, they usually like people clap right in the audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then you have friends and people who came.
Man.
You have more friends in the audience too.
Right.
That.
I mean, sometimes it happens. I've been to competitions that it did not matter because somebody else won, and then people got upset because they brought them more people, but they didn't win. So I've seen that before too.
What's the highest form of government you guys think we could elect by applause?
That would be hilarious.
I think city council. I think you could get because there's only like 50 people who give enough of a shit to vote on that anyway. Like,
I don't know. I think we should vote by clapping on everything. It would be hilarious. Clapometer, it's called.
But yeah, we should have a roast battle. I mean, I think Jacksonville used to have one, right?
We had roast battles like once a month, and then after the pandemic, we had one more, and that was it. And actually, I love roast battles. Like I drove to Orlando to do roast battles and stuff. I like it.
Someone asked me to start one, and then I was just like, maybe I don't know.
You are already doing a show. So
I'm starting a show. I don't know why I didn't think back to just making it a battle instead of a show. Hello. Brain's not working there, but eventually could put something together.
Maybe. But what I'm saying is there are plenty of other comedians who can put together a roast show.
But how come no one's done it?
I don't know.
It's a lot of fun. Austin? What's the answer, Austin, for that?
The only thing worse than one comedian doing comedy is when you have two at the same time playing off of each other poorly. Often roasts divulge into I forgot to write a joke. I'm just going to say like the meanest thing that I haven't told you. And again, because comedians are sensitive catty bitches, it snowballs. I could see why there wouldn't be one. I think we could definitely do one. The problem with doing a roast on a local scene, no one knows who the fuck these people are. Like, you know, like there's maybe some bringers in the crowd, but even then they're not familiar with your reputation around the comedy's open mic scene.
Completely agreed. Like none of us have any pull, right? Like we are nobodies. But with the roast battle specifically, you could have clips out of it and put it on social media, right? Because it doesn't matter how many people are there.
I mean, everyone's working on their tight 15 seconds for that TikTok clip. Like,
what I mean is, like, if a roast is good, you know, people, the comedians are there, whatever, they're gonna laugh and it's hilarious, and it's material you're never gonna reuse again, most likely.
Well, I'd actually argue that you're gonna again because no one knows who these people are. You can't get too in the weeds about like them as a person. It's got to be almost more general, you know?
Yeah.
Like things that people would know about you just by like seeing you, or assume about you just by seeing you.
Right.
You know, and that's all stuff that maybe not be evergreen, but you could use that shit again.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of repurposeful stuff, and the best thing is if someone writes a very specific roast about you. Dude, thank you for writing my opener for the next 2 weeks.
I used openers. Like I was roasted and I used it as an opener several times.
Yeah, if it gets me like good, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for writing for me.
The problem is
to take over full time.
Right.
I keep changing the way I look. Like when I started, I don't think I was wearing a hat. So I did a lot of, hey, I'm a skinhead material, right? Because I'm bald. And then I started wearing a hat. So I couldn't really do it anymore because I didn't look like one.
Why did the German skinhead material not take off, do you think?
Somebody called me Nazi at one point. I think she was from like, I don't know, Romania or something. And as soon as I started talking, like she knew I was Hungarian, right? And she was just like, Nazi! I'm like, what the fuck? I was like in a couple of months in, I'm like, this is brutal.
Oh, man.
It was crazy. I didn't say wrong, but it was funny. So anyway, Flo, how was your show? I wanted to ask you about your show last week. You had a show.
Did I?
Yeah, with the big improv thing.
Oh yeah.
Are you familiar with the Austin? Are you familiar with the improv
I've
group?
done like a similar, like you do. No, I wasn't in the headline, but you do like a set, and then they do improv based off the set. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
They just want you to turn your set into more of a story.
So it's not like did you do jokes or what did you?
So it wasn't mandatory, but they're paying you because you are a comedian. If they didn't pay you, they could just grab any random person that's just telling a story.
I didn't know you were getting paid, so that's good.
Yeah, well, right. So that's why since I was getting paid, I'm like, let me throw in, because I have jokes, and then I tried to take some of them, put them together, but I had a beginning, middle, and end story. Some parts weren't funny, but then I threw in a joke here and there that I know works.
Yeah.
So that's what was, it wasn't required, and then I spoke to some other comedians who were, I don't know if they got paid or not, but some of them were like, no, I didn't put any jokes in at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. So
that's how I actually construct a set. I make sure to not throw in a single joke. I want 5 minutes that is completely unfunny.
You know what? Big comedians do that because they get laughs just because of who they are.
There. Yeah.
So they said to reset
like
the crowd,
first
they have to bomb.
10 minutes is just like bullshit. They laugh because they recognize.
Yep. That's what I do. I go up there and I'm like, all right, the first 5 minutes, everybody knows me. That's why I bombed the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then for the next 10.
Yeah.
But
the big comedians are hacks. They stop after 5 minutes. I could bomb potentially forever. And I don't say that lightly. Like
we should have a contest.
I have the
Just
slowest
bomb,
and longest half hour you've ever fucking heard in your life.
Hey, some of the professional specials are like that to me. You know what I mean? I'm watching it. I'm like, what?
I cringe watch Dennis Miller, so I get it. Like,
I don't know.
He was like real popular in the 90s, and then 9/11 happened, and then he's like, just dude, fuck Muslim people, you know? Not that explicitly, you know, in like a cool 2000s Bush way. He was on Fox a lot, and that became the whole thing. Like,
oh, okay.
How every or not every, but a bunch of famous like Hollywood types when their career is over, they hit that pivot to like hard right or like Christian fundamentalist movies. Like it really is the scariest part of doing stand up is knowing that if I fail, I have to become a conservative podcaster.
That's what we are working on right now.
It's terrible.
Ready for the pivot.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, with the cancel culture, it's just gotten off the rails. I think, you know. Like,
okay, first of all, I don't
can't say anything.
I don't think there is such a thing as cancel, right?
No.
I truly believe, and you guys know my stuff. You can say whatever you want as long as it's funny. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you know, back it up with jokes.
And that's like, you know, it's one why I try not to let too many people in my life know I do this because you'll have to hear bad jokes like a lot.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's also why, like, again, comedy open mics are bad. Because, like, a good portion of that is going to be brand new or new enough that they might as well be brand new.
Right.
People who are talking into a microphone for 5 minutes. And a lot of times their idea of this is going to be funny is things they've said in conversation to get a laugh. And if you're unfunny, you have to, like, lean on, like, shock value shit.
Right.
And, like, 5 minutes of that into a microphone, you know?
Yeah.
It's the fucking worst. And like you can say anything. Like I'd say my material's fairly like I hate the word edgy, but it's, you know, bold, brave, and generation defining, I think is the word we're looking for. But like
no, it just sounds like my dick, right? Bold,
brave. Yeah, but only because it's got AIDS and the generation is Jax.
No, I like your stuff. I remember when you came to Jacksonville and I was watching you. I think I saw you first time at the Shantytown. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun. Like I do like your material.
So is there any reason you'll say some of like the locations of mics and not others?
It is
because like it's like
my bad.
You should call the podcast. No, I have not heard what is the mic. But
no, we don't know the whole thing was the idea came about when they canceled that mic at that venue. And I was like, man, this sucks. Why did this was this canceled? And then Flo and I started talking. I'm like, we should do a podcast about the venues and just rumors in general in the local scene.
Well, I've got like
Have you heard
the thing
any
is,
other rumors about that place?
I've heard plenty of comedy podcasts that are just like comedians talking about the scene. And
Right.
every time I'm like, why would anyone listen?
I
or
don't
care?
know. Hey, but we got four listeners in the first episode.
That kicks ass.
Yeah.
That is 4 times as many as my podcast ever got.
You had a podcast?
I don't want to talk about it. But no, I have to say that making a podcast based around open mics that are canceling suddenly, I mean, you're going to have a podcast for 100 fucking years.
But that was it's pretty scalable. You know, we have new mics popping up and mics are going away.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
It's very now.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to
No,
adjust
I'll,
the thermostat.
I'll talk about my stupid podcast.
All right, yeah,
just 'cause,
talk about your
I just wanted to get the line out. Anyhow, and now the main reason I'm doing this is I've never actually told someone I had a podcast and then ask like a follow-up question. Like not once. They're always like, "Oh, well, you have a nice day. Please don't tell me about it. I'm not going to listen."
Okay,
I'm leaving now.
I have a very special heart for podcasts because I was doing podcasts in 2008 when it
Oh
was
my
called
God.
Radio On Demand. I don't know what it was called. So
You could have got it really into Bitcoin or podcasting.
So it
Both
was-
were kind of the future,
Right.
but the payout's a lot different.
So it was about the technology. I'm a coder by day, so that was the podcast about it. And I did it for a good year and a half, I think. And it was a fun experience. But anyway, since then, I just love podcasts. And I listen to podcasts all the time. When I'm in the car, on the toilet, whatever. I just listen to podcasts. So I love podcasts. That's why I was there. Did you have a name for it?
Yeah. So, and I had like a gimmick
Trotter.
too. No, basically what we do is we'd recreate the last meal of a death row inmate and eat it while we talked about him. It was called Just Desserts because it's like my answer
nice.
to like
Dude, that's
what
a good
would my last meal be? Just desserts. But there were a few issues. So number one, that's like way more research than I ever want to fucking
Yeah.
do, especially about like that much murder. A little murder is nice to spice up a tribe, but that much, like,
It's a lot.
it's so much.
That much
And number two, I can't cook, and the person I got to cook, like for it, he can't either. Turns out. And number three, and this is like the biggest dagger of like, oh, well then why'd you even fucking do this? I didn't have like a video camera, so there was no video component.
Interesting.
So I could have just lied about cooking the meals themselves.
Get like some canned noises or something.
Yeah.
like that.
Instead, I just had silverware clanking while we talked with our mouth full.
It's hilarious.
It's a kick-ass pod. No regrets, really. The only thing, like, the main thing I, like, stopped, one, my co-host, like, hated it. Like, visibly never wanted to record. And
Not
like,
all the way there.
yeah. Damn, that's crazy. I'm like,
Ooh.
yeah.
I definitely love the idea.
Well, yeah, a lot of people do. My problem is, I don't have that much of a passion for, like, true crime or for food. My real passion is, like, exploiting the tragedy of other families who've suffered a grave loss, and there's just like way easier ways to do that,
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I wonder what the families eat when an inmate in a death row is eating their last dinner. Like reverse it back what the family is eating.
Yeah.
The loved one was murdered. I don't know. That's where my head went. But so one of my podcast idea was a couple of years ago, and actually I talked to several comedians. They had similar ideas. It's just a comedian cooking show, but my kitchen is too small, so I need to find somebody who has money.
Like Amy Schumer did during the pandemic.
Oh, did she?
but she
before.
she recorded.
I just
the
love
whole-
cooking, and I can cook some things, but
You should have went for it, dude.
yeah, with Amy Schumer.
But she did
Let
that
him
in
cook.
2020.
Yeah.
She just made it like, it was a comedy podcast because her husband's a chef.
Oh, well,
and
I'm
she
not
would
a
just
chef.
say funny stuff in there. And
But I
didn't
was
even-
thinking more like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and we are talking about
Yeah, I can cook a mean ramen.
Oh,
right.
okay.
Like how
okay.
do you make a PBJ?
I don't.
Are you allergic to
Fuck
peanuts?
PBJ. No,
What?
I that's all I ate as a kid, and I
Oh,
can't.
you see,
eat-
I
even
never had
think about
PBJ
it.
when I was growing up. So I came here and I thought peanut butter was Nutella, and somebody made me a
No wonder you like PB&J.
and somebody made me a PBJ sandwich, and it was disgusting. So I didn't eat PBJ for like a year, and after that I got a taste for peanuts, and then after that I started eating it. But
yeah,
anyway,
because peanut butter is a big American thing. Most countries don't even. They're
we
like,
don't.
what? Peanut
It's
butter?
very weird because peanut is cheap. Like, why wouldn't they have it? I
Right.
don't know. But we did not have it in Hungary. We have them now, of course.
You have
but-
peanuts though in Hungary.
Yeah, peanuts was our only nut. Like we didn't have cashews or anything.
Nutless
Oh.
And
Hungary.
almonds, we had almonds too, and
Interesting.
walnuts. Okay, we had all
You
kinds
like
of nuts.
Austin?
I love nuts. I love hearing
What kind of
Imre
nuts?
as he warms up to the taste of peanuts.
He likes nuts.
It's great.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad that Hungary has to go nutless in these trying times. Let's start
Glad
a
you're here.
foundation. Nuts for Hungry.
Hungry for nuts.
Yeah, yeah, that's better than my pitch. Fuck.
Nice.
Oh.
All right. So Flo, we started talking about another venue last week. Do you remember that you wanted to say about the other venue?
What were we discussing about the other?
Well, no,
venue?
you just brought it up at the end of the episode.
Oh,
And
Is the venue fucking in the room with us right now? Again, I don't know why we're not saying the names. of
because
these
we
places.
don't, you know, it's just that's the whole idea. It's like
Well, there's
what's going on.
okay.
Okay, so
we don't want to get sued. You know how they do in the U.S.
Because you said on a podcast that
nobody
these
listens to
places
them.
existed and had a comedy night.
Not trying to hurt anyone's feelings.
Again,
here.
I think it is probably defamation to say a local business is engaging in open mic comedy. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's bad.
I wouldn't want any of my friends or family to know about it.
So it's funny you said that because I was like that. My friends didn't know I was doing comedy for about a year. Like I was almost a year, I think. Like my close friend.
Your first year.
My close friend knew it, and he was coming with me to almost every open mic. And
That was nice.
but he was the only one who knew about it. Other than that, I didn't let anybody know. My family didn't find out till later because they live in Hungary. So they didn't know. And they were surprised. They were like, comedy? You? Really? Because my whole family is funny. I'm probably in the lower middle, funny in my family. You know what I mean? Like everybody is funny. So growing up, I thought everybody was funny. And everybody's family is funny. And it's not true.
No.
According
not
to
at all.
Austin, nobody's funny. So
Not, well,
Austin will let you
You
know
know.
about that.
we haven't observed anyone being funny yet. Okay, scientifically speaking, you can't just say no one.
Right.
It's just we haven't discovered it. You know,
that's the problem with comedy. It's very subjective, right?
right? You watch any of the
Yes.
old greats, right? Lenny Bruce,
Yeah.
George Carlin, Bill Hooks, all not funny. It's a shame.
Oh, no.
You wish again.
But you can't like a sense
I'm
of
hard joking, but like
Right,
all
right.
that shit ages terribly. And
For sure, yeah.
Like the most popular, like classic comedian today, in 30 years, they're gonna be like, really? Like, that's
Yeah.
That
what
was
people.
funny.
Why? I don't get it.
right. I mean that's
And that's where
the
we're at
nature of it.
today, where every bit of comedy is like, why? And I don't get it.
But I think that's the beauty of it. Like, hey, I don't know if this is funny, but and you say the joke and nobody's laughing, you know it's not funny, or it's not funny to most of the crowd or whatever. I don't know.
Depending on the crowd too.
Everything I write, I think it's freaking hilarious,
Mhm.
and then I go up there and I say it, and I can feel it that it's not funny already. When I'm up
It's-
there, you know what I mean?
You know
There's-
what's funny?
There's like an inverse relationship between how funny I think that joke I wrote is and how many people are going to laugh at it. Because if I think it's the funniest, most brilliant thing, it's going to get nothing. But if I do it for like 2 weeks, one guy is going to lose his shit over it. And then all this stuff, then I'm like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever written in my entire life. I should be embarrassed. And
And it works.
yeah, and it crushes. Like,
Yep.
and then you're just like, well, making these idiots laugh.
Right. I hate it when I just put in a pun
And
at the end of the and they are laughing. I'm like, stop laughing at this. This is stupid. The whole joke was brilliant.
And
The
then-
pun was just in there
Yeah.
for whatever, because people laugh at it.
Or
And that's
like
the biggest
when
part.
you're writing a misdirect and your direct goes like too good, you know.
Yeah.
When you like one of the first shows I had was like it was about being a fluffer and like not a gay thing. I'm just really used to that motion, right? When I was 13, I spent like all my free time just jerking off random dudes. But people would laugh after the jerking off, and I'm like, what's funny about that? Like
Yeah, right.
every 15-year-old was a masturbation addict. Like
Right.
Sure.
some of us haven't given up the dream, god damn it. But like you're laughing before I can get to the turn.
Right,
yeah,
right.
it's funny how sometimes like I'll the same thing. I'll write a whole bunch of stuff, and I might think most of it's funny, but then I have no idea sometimes like if it's funny or not, because like I'll get a laugh here, like you don't expect it, and it's like, oh, you guys laugh there, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
like, I gotta write that down. That okay. Or if I'm riffing and I get something, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, somebody yelled in. I was doing the show at the Comedy Zone last week, and somebody yelled in something after my last tag. And I'm like, dang, that's hilarious. So guess what? Now it's part of the bit.
Yeah.
Because it was
they
just
said
so fun.
something?
They said they yelled back
Yep.
something.
Yep.
And
Yeah, you fucked up. Now you're gonna have to give Comedy Zone a writer credit.
yeah, right. No, it was just an audience member yelling
Yep.
in. And she
Yeah.
was mentioning a joke that I said previously. So it was like a callback, which I never thought of. And I've been doing
See
these
that?
stupid jokes for like a year and a half.
Well,
And I'm like,
sometimes
yeah.
stuff comes a year
Right.
later. It's like,
Yep.
or not, or like from the audience. It's like,
Right.
wow,
Oh.
suddenly it hit me.
All hecklers think they're helping you write shit, but that one
That
day was
one
right.
was actually happening.
one
on
was-
them fucking money.
Yeah, that's my favorite excuse. I'm just trying to help.
Yeah.
First of all, my joke was already working without, the audience members'
Mine
input.
was absolutely not, and you're not fucking helping. Like,
Can go
if
both
I was
ways.
performing CPR right now and it wasn't going good, are you gonna throw a dick joke on the end of it? Like, no.
I would probably, but that's just my
It wouldn't
personality.
help. It would not help.
You don't know. Has anybody ever tried it? We don't know.
I think that's the exact right environment for comedy to work for the very first time. So let's just ride around when we see an ambulance.
Ooh, like those people who drive around for lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's illegal in the US or anywhere else. So if there is an accident, they are there with the cards, which lawyer to call.
Yeah, ambulance chasers.
Yeah. So it would be
That's
this.
illegal.
I thought so.
Oh, well, I guess that's.
Is
yeah.
it-
Not that
is
it's
it your
illegal if
second
you're rich
job?
enough, like,
Is it your second job?
frowned
Flo?
upon.
You're right. How'd you know?
But that would be cool, like storm chasers with ambulance chasers with jokes. And if somebody's about to die,
Just a family that gets fucking
Try
wrecked
to
by
revive
a
them.
hurricane, and while they're drowning, you're like, okay, don't rescue them yet. I'm halfway through my tight 10. And
that would be hilarious. Oh, mobile stand-up comedy. I don't know.
The only
Stand up
thing
for life.
oh my god, I'm gonna do. You start that, and I'll start a competing business called Stand Up for Death, where I crash these people's funeral because they're not gonna get anything. Like, and I just rock the mic.
That's
and
the place.
dude, that's. It makes as much sense for a funeral parlor to have a comedy night as anywhere else.
Right.
Like,
I think it would be hilarious to put up a pop-up mic at the end of a cemetery. And just do time, like a couple of minutes here and there.
oh, you'd kill.
Grieving people need to laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I went to whatever, it was St. Augustine, I can't remember where. But anyway, and there was this guy, and he said, I lost my mom recently, so I just wanted to have a good laugh. And I'm like, really? You came to a comedy competition? And it did, and he had a good time. I'm like, all right, I guess that works
Yeah.
to some people.
Yeah, I mean, if you're grieving, you're probably the easiest laugh because you need that release.
Sure.
But there has to be an I wanted to come here and
And don't make fun of whoever
Well,
passed
that's
away.
exactly who you should make fun of. Fuck them for dying. Like, did they
Selfish,
know
yeah.
you're supposed to not die?
Yeah, right.
Because like if that were me, that's what I would have done in that position.
I don't know. I mean, that sounds like a good idea. I always had like funeral business ideas. I wanted to do
You wanted to get into taking pictures. of
funeral
dead people.
photography. I think it's genius, and this was a thing before the 1900s.
I think
We just stopped.
I just think you got to go gorilla with it. Show up at
Just
people's
do it,
funerals, take the pictures,
And
then
charge them
just-
$20.
Well, post them with like the watermarks, right? And yeah, if you want this,
Mm.
like unfiltered, pay me for this memory of the last time you saw your mother,
Right.
because that's mine. I own that moment.
But you can take a picture of anything, literally. So it's completely legal. But now I'm thinking maybe a green screen, and I can put like any kind of background in the back, Like they don't want to be in a crappy Jacksonville funeral. I can put them in the French, Paris funeral. Not funeral,
Mama's
cemetery.
funeral, sad. Mama's funeral in Paris.
But here we go, Eiffel Tower in the back.
What?
That's still standing.
Who's that keeping the Leaning Tower from tipping over? It's the pallbearers.
It would be hilarious. Oh. All right, so which venue is gonna close next? What do you guys think?
Hopefully all of them.
Hopefully.
God, I hope it's all of them. I mean, we are so close. It's just...
No, you have no idea how far we are. Like I told Flo last time, I remember when there were only 2 mics a week. We have now 11 or something.
I got the new one. I got a message today. My friend said, "Do you want to go to this open mic tomorrow?" She's not even a comedian.
Today?
Yeah, and I looked at it. It looks like a random address to someone's house.
Is it
But
a
it's
mixed mic?
I don't know. It's a legit. It just says open mic, and it's a little video, like a legit advertisement. I just didn't answer yet. I'm like, oh, I've never seen that.
Oh, where is it?
7 to 10. I think it's around Riverside area.
Interesting. I mean, we used to have a...
Rosette Street, I think.
Oh, good. Don't name
Don't
any
say
of
the
like
name.
the
Not
public
saying the name.
businesses
Actually,
that do
I
comedy night,
didn't have
but
a name.
fucking blast this place's address like that. Kicks so much ass.
There's just somebody's house, like, hey, show up here.
Now, I'm not going to name the plant-themed open mic wherein one person walked the entire crowd. But Jessica's house over there on Rosette Street,
That's the place.
blue Prius in the driveway, rusty white van. You can't miss it. Can't miss it.
Yeah, right. Oh, that would be funny.
Dude, let's do it. Let's just it's a new podcast. It's growing into thing. Let's make it the doxing podcast, where just random people, we get their private information, and we just say it into a microphone.
Go to this place at this time.
Just,
It didn't even say, it only said open mic, so it didn't even say the place. It just gave the
Oh, wow.
address.
Interesting.
So I need to ask her, like, what? We might have another one.
Yeah. Maybe.
damn shame.
Maybe.
Another open mic. I don't know. Maybe I should do the guitar. You know what I mean? Like, take my guitar up on stage. And
With comedy, too? Or just...
Yeah, because, it's a musical mic. So I just...
And
I
then
would
just
show up,
don't
not
even
play the
it.
guitar.
Oh, I've always wanted to do that.
And just do... I did it one
just
time.
keep like tuning in between jokes,
Ting, ting,
strum
ting.
a key,
Yeah.
say a one-liner, and then just go back to that.
So I
And
did...
never play a fucking note.
I did it one time. I did the whole 5 minutes of my one-liners, and I played like just 3 notes, nothing. I didn't use my left hand.
Mhm.
And somebody at the end yelled in, "Can you even play?" And I'm like, "Nope."
No, I got this from a thrift store.
Well, it was funny. I had a good time. So, and the people were laughing because my dark one-liners work perfectly. Just a stupid, silly.
And then just like the most
music.
upbeat. Like you just have to learn like a few like upbeat chords to play
Right.
after it, and it's
The most I brought was a cookie to stage and ate it.
Like accidentally.
No.
that makes you a prop
Oh,
comic.
well, I think-
technically.
But it started off accident because I had it, but then I'm like, oh shit, it works with a joke, but it didn't really work.
Oh,
It was
okay.
like, I don't know. It got some laughs, and then some other guy was like, "Womp womp." I'm like, "Is your dick that small? Like, this is fucking priceless. This shit's intelligent."
But I didn't see the bit, so I cannot even imagine
Well,
it
I don't
being
even-
funny right now.
I don't even remember what the bit was.
Oh.
Actually, this was a while ago, but
I don't know, but you could have told me you dabbled in meth, and I wouldn't judge as harshly as you dabbling in prop comedy. It's just,
Yeah, not the way to go.
I mean,
like I talk bad about stand-up, but I think it's a generally noble pursuit of trying to achieve humor. Prop comics, straight to the gulag. I'm pro human rights, except for in that specific instance, in which case, them and comedy magicians, like, gotta go.
Done.
Really,
No,
I love magic. I was actually thinking about learning some tricks. I don't know. I just love magic. It was like cool. But I would be more like into illusionist. You know what I mean? Like not magic,
Pretentious.
not cards, but like illusion stuff.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be crazy if I go up on stage like this and I just pull a clone of myself on stage? I don't know. Something.
No, I've seen The Prestige.
That's what I was.
The only thing is, you have to murder the clone after. But
Then you
people
just
say that's a
ruined the
drawback.
movie. If
That's
somebody
the
has never-
best part. That's the best fucking part.
If
I
somebody has
haven't seen it.
never seen the movie,
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm not gonna watch
Yeah, don't
it.
watch
I'm
it now.
sorry. Like,
Not now.
I am a white guy bordering on 30. At some point, I'm gonna babble on about the films of Christopher Nolan.
That was shot
It's
25
inevitable.
years ago.
Yeah, like you don't know which, but like the thing is, it doesn't matter if the top fell in Inception or not. What matters is he doesn't care that he's in a dream anymore. That's the point of the movie.
Ooh,
dude.
that was deep. Yeah,
What movie is this?
Inception.
Oh,
You have not seen Inception
It's just
either?
Is that
Christopher
where?
Nolan.
Wait, is that where they fall into?
It's the
different
dream
things?
shit. Yeah.
Oh, I think I did see that years ago. That was
If
good.
you've seen it, you would remember that movie. You know what I mean? There are certain movies that I see one time and I will remember it for the rest of my life.
No, I remember him falling from one dream to the next, and then they're on the
Oh, yeah.
mountain, and that's all.
Yeah,
I
that's the
remember.
movie.
Avalanche.
Mhm. Yeah.
Really? You
There's
don't
memes
remember
of
the
it.
streets folding on itself and stuff? I mean,
You know
Not-
what
not that
you know
part.
when I think of that movie is like whenever I'm doing a lesson plan and that like make a maze in a minute that takes 2 minutes to solve. That's every fucking day as a teacher. Use your hour planning period to make a class period that's going to take an hour and a half for these little gremlins to get through.
Yep. I'm at the point where I'm not even making lesson plans anymore.
I'm so proud of you.
I purposely never mention who is working what. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that, but
I don't know
Yeah.
why I brought it up. Actually, bleep this whole thing. Bleep the whole podcast. Delete it. Describe that. Scrub it. Scrub it.
I don't know. I have to see if this actually even works. So
That kicks ass. That kicks so much ass.
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
No, it is when you're starting a new podcast. You have to figure that 1 out of every 5 episodes is going to not record or get deleted, or you're not going to post it out of shame.
that part,
It's
but you guys are it's pretty solid. This is the new one that I'm like trying. I was supposed to plug this into that computer, whatever. Long story.
No, I remember. My podcast failed too because I forgot to plug it in before recording. And
Damn it.
just
It
the
happens.
it's one of the no one told me I
Right.
had to have things plugged in.
But that's
Or
how.
press play.
But that's
Like
exactly
that.
why I'm telling Flo that we're gonna record a couple of them. I do like little clips, and then we're gonna release it so we can keep up the schedule. Because if we would record every week and release every week, and if something happens, like let's say this whole set was crap, then we would miss a week. Right?
Yeah.
So
And
instead, we're gonna just push it out.
you gotta give time for these
Right.
mics to close down suddenly. You know.
So like what he said, what do you think, without saying, where do you think is the next place that's gonna shut down? The next place that's gonna be like, yeah, this ain't working out.
The American government. I think that'll be.
It's
the
getting
next-
there.
within
That-
a few days,
Dude, that
right?
open mic sucks, man.
Yeah. Dude, they're all pandering.
The setups are horrible.
Just
And
the
no
timing's the
punchlines.
worst, you know.
Okay, I can tell you that since I've been doing comedy, I have a hard time sitting through any kind of speeches.
Mhm.
Like, where's the laugh?
Every
Right, waiting for it.
every assembly I've been to, I just talk into the microphone.
Yeah, that's the other. Like somebody's holding it by their stomach.
Yeah.
Yep,
always
that
fun.
happens. I don't know. What should we talk about still? Mics, hosts. Because people were complaining about hosts, right? Like some hosts are doing a longer time than
Too
others.
long. and then it makes people leave.
Yes.
It is great that you're giving the listeners the open mic experience of at least 15% of this being. So what do you guys want to talk about?
But that's the whole thing. We'll figure it out. But so my thing about the hosting thing, right? Because other than Austin, we both host shows.
I've hosted a show.
Are you the next host in Jacksonville?
No, I don't host a show in Jacksonville.
Well,
Again,
will you be the next host in Jacksonville?
you either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That being said, God, I hope not. Hosting sucks so much.
Yeah, hosting is a lot of work. But
It's.
Well, I enjoy because I love improv, so I love the riffing with the crowd in between to get them back after the comedians and stuff. So, but the typical comedian they don't care for improv or
improv.
riffing or.
I went to one
yeah.
improv class. It was the most. I went with
so
Flo to
sorry.
an improv
I invited
class.
him.
Tell
us about what. Yeah,
I hated every moment of it.
You
to
were
be honest.
good.
I didn't understand. You know what actually rubbed me the wrong way about it? When you fuck up at an improv class, they all clap.
At
what
you.
fucking game is that? You shit. I don't
Yeah.
like positive affirmations
Okay,
in
wait.
general.
how did
Knock
you,
that shit off. Like,
how did you fuck up an improv class?
dude,
Wait,
I just
okay, so
didn't.
wait.
Like, there was one game that I literally did not understand. I still don't. And I couldn't ask because everyone talks in that fucking improv way.
They
you know?
should have explained better for the new guy, though. They should have.
Yeah, it was just like you'd say a preposition or the wrong preposition, but it was only certain prepositions. Also, they said I couldn't do a cartwheel. Like, what? Dude, I'm going to do cartwheels. You know me how long, Imre. You see me. I'm doing cartwheels, dude.
Yeah, I don't know why they were. Maybe they've had an injury and didn't want to get sued.
Well, I'm not saying everyone who was there could do a cartwheel.
You got kicked off?
I'm cartwheel doing now. No, it's the, like, I don't know. A lot of improv is like physical, and I don't like doing physical comedy.
But you are funny on the
also-
spot. You just come up with stuff in the moment, so that
but
was the
it's
good part you were good
different,
at.
right?
Well, they have some games that maybe,
The line, like
I don't
but,
love all
like,
the games
A clever
either.
line at an improv is less funny than like acting out a scene,
Right.
You know?
Because the audience is not ready for it.
Yeah.
Like if I say some crazy, switcheroo jokes, people are like, what? Where did that come from? You know what I mean? Instead of improv, which is like this hyper energy. You know what I mean?
And it's a lot of like doing funny or silly voices or accents. I don't like do those. I don't know how you've committed to this for so long, Imre. Like I would have dropped it.
You've seen The Prestige, right? The guy with the fishbowl. The guy's like, he's been carrying it for 35 years. So, yeah. So I did take improv classes. A couple of them, actually. Definitely not my thing. I was the same deadpan persona the whole time. I'm just not that kind of person. Yeah. But we had a good time, and it was still fun.
It's just for fun, yeah. It's just to build those.
You're flexing the comedy muscles. I get it.
Yeah,
And I've seen good improv. It's not like they all suck.
Yeah, like Middle Ditch on Sword.
Yes, that's
Netflix,
exactly
really
what I want.
funny. Really.
So it's a long form. They do long form improv. So at the beginning they ask a couple of questions, and then for an hour they riff on those answers. I'm like, that's crazy.
That's what I'm gonna tell you about the show that I did last week.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Like I did 3 stories.
Uh-huh.
And just because, like, it's my life, watching them recreate and then even change things up and do, like, add crazy shit was fucking hilarious. And I would totally do it again because, like, I had a story about my mom and what she did and my friend. So watching them even enhance it and make it even more fucked up stories was so funny. And some of my friends came, they were dying. It was so funny.
I would put all my feelings about improv aside to go up there, talk about, my life, my story, just to see an improv troupe have to fucking dunk on Cancer Boy like I was going to. Like,
yeah. That's the best part, seeing them come up with it. But that's it. So that's a whole nother thing, too. Actually, that's the first time I ever... And I've been doing improv for years, actually, so I've never seen them do it that way. Tell a story and then...
Oh, really?
And then just come up. That's a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've always just seen, like, the audience gives you an idea, throw an idea here or there. Maybe they were trying to combine more like stand-up,
Yeah.
but storytelling, but stand-up jokes with.
Yeah.
Well, that was there's a show in Huntsville, a club called Shenanigans, where they did a monthly like that.
Yep.
And
Stories, and then they.
so it was like you'd do 15, and then the improv would be 5 minutes based off that.
Oh.
And it was really cool. What I liked about it was you could kind of tell based off what got the most improv riffs, what stuff was actually like hitting,
Right.
like, you know, or like it's kind of like when you do a bit and then the person who's hosting riffs on that bit and you're like, oh, there's more there's more laughs I can like get out of that. So that was cool. I did enjoy the show. It was a lot of fun. But God, improv's so painful. Again, you were
pretty good. You were
of
pretty
your
good.
own homes, it's fine, but it's like don't expose
Not
my
your thing.
kids to it, you know.
Not your thing.
So
Shoot, that's my favorite part of my day. Like
what,
at work.
improv?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you are
That's
an
my-
improv comic.
Right.
Or you, or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
we-
I understand that some people enjoy it. First of all, I
most comedians probably don't.
hate losing control, right? Like I write my stuff, I
Mhm.
perform it, the audience kind of edit, you know, whatever is funny stays, whatever.
True. Yeah.
But improv is the whole different thing because you control nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you know, other than
never
what you are doing.
know.
You cannot say no, which, you know, I hate it.
Yeah.
Number one rule.
Yeah.
Did they see?
No,
they should have
but
told
that
you.
is what you say to every
No.
improv. No, but I could do this thing instead.
I don't know. I don't even.
Michael Scott in the office.
Oh my God. Oh man.
I don't know if they even gave you the full like, don't ask questions, don't say no. I'm not sure. So I mean, for someone just going out there and trying it their first time, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. It was the worst experience of my life. I have PTSD from it. But
Oh God.
When was this? Last week? or
it was
Friday?
a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
It was funny, like, and it wasn't as bad as that, but like, it was like pretty clear as I was leaving, like, that I wasn't gonna come back, and like, they were just like, "Oh, it was your first time. Well, we'll see you around or something."
nobody,
I'm
said,
like,
nobody said come back next week.
yeah, maybe like someday. Why not? Yeah, I won't rule anything out.
They forgot to say, give it up because they always
Oh,
give
God, I
shout
would've
outs at
hated
the
that.
end.
I hate
Hey,
positive
you did good
affirmation.
at
We've already
this. You
talked
good at
about
that.
it.
Right.
I would
Well,
have thrown my chair.
well, they should have at least said, and thank you to you for coming. It's your
Yeah.
very first time. We usually say good job. They didn't do that for
Sounds
Austin.
What
They were
sort
just
of
like,
sick-
bye.
What sort of
But they might
sick
have
human
forgot.
being tells someone good job? Like, what's wrong? Like, what kind of game is that? You know?
It's-
Teachers. That's what I'm doing
Never
all
once.
day.
Not one
It's-
time.
Teach.
Those kids have high enough self-esteem. Frankly, it should be a lot lower.
Austin is like, you suck.
Yeah.
It's like-
You know what? Your dad was right. I would have left for cigarettes too.
oh man. Yeah. I mean, improv definitely not for me. But here's the
It's a
thing:
whole
so
nother
I
ballgame.
want to do a class again, just to prepare myself for acting. Like I started acting, and acting is a lot of fun.
I like acting.
Like
too.
Flo
Yeah,
and I were in the same movie, and
Yeah.
it was hilarious. Just hanging out and goofing
It's
around.
fun.
Yeah.
And
It's a
of
lot of
course,
fun.
when you shoot. But other than that, it was just a lot of fun.
I did
Yeah.
his makeup. He was. His
Oh,
zombie.
yeah.
I've seen the posts of it.
Yeah.
Oh, you seen that? Did you see
Yeah.
that? They put all the jokes in the trailer.
I,
Or some, they put
well,
a lot of
that's
jokes in the
always,
trailer.
they're always gonna put because
Yeah.
that's how
I
you
didn't
get
see it.
people, right?
You didn't see the trailer? It's like a good 3 minutes long or something. But it's
gotta see
it's
it,
fun.
yeah.
It looks
Well,
great. I
Let
like
me
it.
know when you do improv because I wanna.
Oh, it's
go
not gonna
this-
be tomorrow or anything.
No, I want to go the night you go.
No, it's gonna be like a year or two from now.
You're planning a year in advance to try improv.
I have a 5-year plan. I'm
Don't
from
rush
a
him.
I'm from a communist country. Everything is a 5-year plan.
Oh my god. Well, every Thursday's just pay what you will or
Yeah,
whatever. It's just you drop in.
But here's my thing. I think I'm gonna practice improv by myself.
Yeah.
All
Every
alone
day,
I'm
at
just
I'm
kidding.
home.
going to respond to a different series of
Yeah.
stimuli.
Yeah, always say yes. What?
That's-
And my schizophrenia comes.
Dude, you're going to live like the most mediocre Jim Carrey movie ever. And you are going to deserve the ukulele playing girlfriend you get from it.
Hey, I love Jim Carrey.
I'm a Jim Carrey fan.
Love him.
I'm on and off.
He
Like,
was not.
I
He
love
was
him.
not throwing out his hottest stuff in the 2000s. So great
What?
guy.
The
His
Mask.
best stuff
The
was in
Mask.
That's 90s.
Which one? Which one?
Oh,
The Mask.
The
came out in the
Mask.
90s. I had that in VHS. That's how you know it.
I
came
mean, The
out in
Mask is
90s.
old.
One of my favorites
The Mask,
as a
Dumb
kid.
and Dumber.
Dumb and
he's got-
Dumber.
he's-
I like 23.
yeah.
Have you guys seen that?
Number 23. I have.
Number 23.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
That's a
it's-
movie that he made.
So it's about
It's a-
a guy
it's a-
who
it's
gets
not a funny
super
movie.
into numerology and then finds out he murdered a lady.
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
Again, I'm spoiling all these movies
Yes, dude.
instantly.
What about the one where he's really on TV and they're watching
Truman
him?
Show?
Truman Show is
That
good.
was a good one.
And I like the
But it's a sad. I like his comedies.
Spotless Mind. What is that? That's
Liar,
Liar.
liar.
Yeah, Liar Liar
That
is
was
good.
funny.
Man on the Moon was good, and it's the last thing I've liked him in was the
Man on the-
documentary where everyone revealed what an asshole he was on the set of that
Yeah,
movie.
he told the
Because he
director.
was like super method. About
Right.
it.
So he
Yeah.
told the actor,
Really?
he's like,
So,
from
yeah.
now on, I'm not Jim Carrey.
I'm Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. Yeah.
I would do the same thing.
And he was good. Like he was like
The movie was good.
Isn't
Yeah.
Isn't that how the one clown guy died because he was
Heath
so
Ledger.
in his
One
role?
clown guy. You mean the Joker?
Again, we're back.
I
We're
don't
back
watch
to
it.
the
I never watched
films
it. I never watched it.
of Christopher
What?
Nolan,
Oh my
and
I don't
what you
know.
have to understand about the Joker is he represents
let's
a
just say the clown
chaotic,
guy.
anarchic feelings of the post 9/11 years. Now, of course, the Dark Knight trilogy are
Oh,
just-
because Christopher Nolan. Yeah, that's right.
just steeped in Bush era politic, and we see that with the Patriot Act that Morgan Freeman was running on everyone's cell phones. Anyway, I think the guy in the bat costume should pay more taxes. Yeah.
Yeah, what is he spending all his money on? Obviously, a cave.
Yeah.
Why would you need a cave, right? Like buy a house or
Dude.
something. A big
Dudes
garage.
will really outfit themselves as a one-man army to fight crime rather than just go to therapy.
I lost my parents. And let me... All right, well, I just bought the collection of Batman. So.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I saw that.
Speaking
either.
of, the worst Batman movie was made by the guy who did the number 23.
Oh, really?
Fun fact,
Okay,
yeah.
so which one do you think is the worst Batman?
Batman and Robin.
Oh,
The,
I've seen it a long time. I definitely did not rewatch that movie.
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. It was the Mr. Freeze one,
Oh, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
right.
and bat nipples. That's the other thing everyone
Bat
remembers.
nipples.
So they put nipples on the bat suit, and everyone got mad about it because it's comic books.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I think
never-
they shouldn't have made the nipples a feature of the costume. I think they should have iced those bad boys down before each take, a la Friends, right? Jennifer Aniston, she made that show a hit for a reason because it's the most nudity you could show on basic cable. They knew that. They knew that.
Yeah, they always just play around with the areola, with the rules.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Flo, what is your favorite movie then? If you don't like Christopher Nolan movies,
I don't watch TV.
Well,
Or
let me ask you
movie,
about
not
movies.
TV.
I don't watch movie.
like
I
at
di-
zero
Have
at
you
all.
ever
For like
seen a
15
movie.
years, I gave my TV back to my mom my first
Oh,
year in
okay.
college, and I said I'm not ever gonna need it again.
I knew people like that, not a lot. But.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have
yeah.
So you don't, you just go. Oh, you don't even go to the movie theaters. Or anything?
No, I can't stand there for an hour and a half watching a movie.
You
Well,
can
you
sit
sit.
down.
I can't
There are a
sit.
number of
I
seats.
can't. I have ADHD. I'm like, I gotta go and staring at the thing. I can't even stand sitting and watching a movie long enough.
Mm.
Yep.
I always hated that. I came to America and I grew up watching a movie from beginning till the end, and I started dating, and nobody could sit through a freaking movie.
Oh, and
Like, they
it's
had to
awkward
get
over
up,
there.
watch calls. I'm like,
Yep.
what? I pause the movie every freaking time, which I also hate. I'm like,
you
what
try
are you
to
doing?
show them that and then miss
Yes, this is the best. You're
Like,
missing the best part of the Big Lebowski,
Well, if
which I
it's-
know is a 3-hour-long movie.
If it's boring, I have to get up and go. I'm not interested.
Right. I mean, that's good. At least you know what you like.
But if I do watch something, it has to be like 90 Day Fiance because it's real life and real people.
You're
Because if it's
kidding.
Yeah,
if
that's
it's-
not real.
no, it is.
Like,
it is.
I mean, it's
It
real
is
people, but
No,
it's
but
not
they're
real.
filming. I know they they probably hype up some stuff.
It's edited.
It's all fake.
Yeah, it's
No,
all put together.
no,
I
it's
hate to
not.
bring it to you.
No, it's
I've never
not.
seen
It's
90 Day
not.
Fiancé.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it's about,
It's
but I can
real.
tell you, it's all
reality. Nope, it's reality.
I like trash TV too, but
I even applied
like
for it.
because I recognize how transparently evil it is. Like, what's that show? Love Is Blind. Oh, I love how much they fucking hate everyone on that show.
I don't know that show.
So the Jersey Shore, right? I
Oh,
watched
I
one
love it.
episode.
I
I'm like,
think about the Roman
this-
Empire daily.
this is how I grew up. Like, you know, the Jersey Shore, everyone was yelling. I'm like, this is not funny for me. So I just didn't watch it.
It's
Why
just-
did you
yeah.
bring up the Roman Empire? Because this is
Because
hilarious.
that is the fucking Jersey Shore. That is the
Oh.
Roman Empire I recognize. Mike the Situation, Paulie D,
I never watched
Vinny, Ronnie and Sammy Sweetheart. Yeah, dude. That was the fucking JWoww and Snooki. Are you kidding me?
Snooki, right?
Dude,
There
that
some
was an
girl
empire.
dating a guy.
Yeah.
That's all.
So
I knew.
here's the thing with the Roman Empire. A couple of weeks ago, did we bring this up at the other podcast? No. A couple of weeks ago, I ran into some people from Memphis,
Mm-hmm.
just randomly at a club, right?
And they remember Jersey Shore too.
No. We started talking, and then one of the guys like, "How often?" Just out of nowhere, how often do you think of the Roman Empire? And I was like, once a week. And he's like, yeah, me too. And since that moment,
Wow.
I see advertisements of the Roman Empire on Facebook.
They're-
Yeah, because it's viral. Like, it's been like a trend to
No,
ask
it's listening.
dudes.
It's 'cause
Like,
it's listening.
Oh, that's one thing, but why is this all of a sudden a thing? But I do think about the Roman Empire once a week. Like, just out of nowhere. Oh, yeah. the
so
Roman
what
Empire.
do you think about it?
Yeah, what? Tell us.
No, like, you know, stuff they invented, you know, and things like this. Just it pops in my head. I don't think about it for a long time. I'm just like, oh, yeah, they did this or they did that. You know,
Like
Caesar.
fist bumping or
Maybe because I live close to Little Caesars. Fist bumping. But I don't know. It was just a random thing. And one of
that
my
is
favorite
random.
One of my favorite TV shows is Plebs. Exactly.
What's
it's about
Plebs?
the Roman Empire. And it's like hilarious. Roman Empire with like modern weirdness. I cannot explain it. You guys have to watch
Is it
Plebs.
what kind? Is it comedy?
It's a It's a definitely a comedy.
Okay.
It was on BBC, so it's an English
Roman
English
Empire comedy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's too soon.
It was-
Yeah.
Now,
Yep.
in Practical Jokers, I love that show, but that's all improv. So
Practical Jokers, you mean clown faces?
Impra-
And
The Impractical.
They wear the earpieces and like fuck with people on the
I would
street.
totally
okay.
be on that show. I want to do that with
It's-
someone who's down to do
it's
that. I
like
would do that.
If you took Jackass and took all the cock and ball torture out of it, you'd have Impractical Jokers.
Okay, so
which
here's-
I would say, like, that is foundational to the Jackass films.
Yeah.
Like, male frontal nudity and getting tortured.
Genitals,
Yeah.
shot in the nuts,
Like-
yeah, with a gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
fucking
yeah,
love
they're,
that
they're
shit.
cleaner than that, but they'll walk up to random people and like fuck with them. I would love. To do
I
that.
would
I've
just
done-
be afraid of getting shot.
Yeah, it is North
Especially in
Florida.
Florida.
Like,
Everybody has a gun now. They're just carrying it around. You know, it's
Yeah.
like,
I'm ready to die though. If it's my time, it's my time.
yeah, but you are kind of like forcing yourself.
Hey, well,
You're like
I
a
mean,
passive
if
suicidal.
it's my time, I'm pressing fast forward.
And
Yeah.
we're gonna do a tight five, right?
Yeah.
All right, this has been an hour, guys. We
All
talked
right.
about literally nothing, like no open. Actually, no, that's not.
No, it's on par for any comedian's podcast
that's
I've
about
ever
right.
heard. Like, we talked about too much, if anything.
Yeah.
Like,
I just want to keep it in an hour, not like a Joe Rogan 3 hours, you know, thing.
Yeah.
yeah, we're not doing a
So
filibuster.
cool. All right, do you guys have any shows coming up
Yep.
that you want to plug? That's after.
Yeah,
3 weeks from
Saturday is in Yulee. Alan Tracy's hosting it. I don't
Oh,
even
cool.
remember the name of it. And then the following week, I'm in 2 in one night, and that's October 6th. My open mic is next week. Have you been? You've been
Mhm.
once, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Have
and
you-
I've been to a.
You have your open mics too.
Yeah,
So
and
the
I've been
same
there a
night.
couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I mean, I'm trying to go as many as possible. I've just been so exhausted lately. I was like, go to every single thing I can, but you know, the day job kind of
Right.
drains you.
Yeah, I wish we didn't have to do any day job. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Just do comedy and open mics all day, every day. Then it would be a nightmare. That's great.
Yeah, for the people in attendance, it would be the worst thing they could have ever.
All right. Well, thanks, Austin, for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Austin.
Hope you had-
This was fun.
I hope you had a good time after you got drenched from the rain.
You had a lot of good stuff you shared.
Thank you. I made most of it up, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That's what we are doing. We never had so far. This is the second one, but we never had notes or anything like that.
Oh, I was scripted throughout. I'm glad to be done playing this character now. I feel like I can.
Time to take a break.
Yes.
I lost stand-up comedy.
Dude, nothing like telling a joke, and we're really modern day philosophers if you think about it.
But there are, whatever. So there are because there are some people who are like believe comedians are just nobody. We are just goofing around trying to get laid, which is true. But there's also
That's projecting.
are we the philosophers or the truth tellers of society?
No, we're just the fucking overflow from the mental hospitals. Like, we haven't figured out how to cure certain mental illnesses. We may never find out since they don't let you zap the inmates anymore. So some of us have to live on the streets, and this is what we fucking do. And really, it is whatever restaurant serving some obscure Indonesian root has their problem, to be honest.
All right, that was a good closing.
Yeah.
All right, I just don't want to go over like an hour. I think we're over.
No, that's
All right,
the closing.
Austin, can you click on stop?